Time for something new and old. For the next few pod notes, we'll be revisiting some of our interviews from previous shows. Back in 2011, Hollywood legend Robin Williams joined Team Norton for an unforgettable chat.
Graham Norton!
Hello.
Hello.
This is so exciting. We're very excited. We don't normally get a crowd outside the radio studio.
I know. It's Robin, look over here. Robin. It's almost an Elmer Fudd voice. Robin. Hello, Robin, over here. Look over here. Look over here, Robin. It was crazy.
Hugh Laurie was telling me there was a man with some very long arms out there. You didn't notice him, did you?
No.
Yeah, apparently there's a guy with really freakishly long arms.
Oh, no. Hello, Mr. Williams. I'm here for the Doctor Who. I was frightening the long-armed man. Hello, what's your name? Spindle Monkey. John Spindle Monkey.
Robin Williams, congratulations. You are reprising your twin roles of Lovelace and Ramon in Happy Feet 2 3D. And I was lucky enough to see it last night. It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful. The 3D really works, especially underwater. I mean, it makes it this... I don't know, it's just incredibly beautiful and almost cosmic. And
well, the krill.
Oh, the krill. And just the fact it's Matt Damon and Brad Pitt.
That is hilarious.
It is, isn't it?
Hello, Will. Hello, Phil.
Yeah,
and all those jokes about kids and stuff.
Yeah, big time. How many kids? We have millions of them. And the fact that he I love the one point he wants to be a predator and he's riding that one, like that leopard seal, like, yes! He's in his death throes. There's more where that came from. It's like, wow, that's true cojones.
And it's, for an animated movie, it actually has kind of a serious intent.
I think just a touch.
Yeah.
The only way to get through this is working together. I mean, as we do when things actually do fall apart, but... yeah, that's the way to survive.
And it's not really, I mean, I don't want to put anyone off. It's not incredibly heavy-handed or anything.
No. And the music alone is gigantic. I mean, and big production numbers. The only way you can, I mean, the only place where tap is still alive is with penguins, you know.
Yeah, and presumably somebody does it.
Oh, big time. It's Savvy and Glover.
Wow.
Yeah, Savvy and Glover, and I guess this core of tap dancers covered in little white balls. I know that sounds like an evening, but it's like he does like he's an amazing dancer, and George said, an amazing percussionist. And they filmed them and then they amplified, and then with the animation, they individualize it, which is incredible. It takes 3 years. I mean, I think George has been doing it for 4 years.
But then, very unusually, they do this thing where they get you all together. Yeah,
and for the recording of the voices, you get to riff together, which is... I forgot that most of the time when I was doing other animations, I was alone, you know. And with Aladdin, it was a good thing because I created 40 different characters. But with this, you get to riff with all the amigos, Elijah Wood, Hank Azaria, Sofia Vergara, which makes animation so much more exciting. Hello. She walks in the room, everybody go, we're thawing out everybody. But when you work together, it's great because George picks the stuff. And the good news is, if you have a guy like him, you know he's going to pick the best. So you really can go out there. I mean, you'd finish a day of working and everyone was sweating through shirts and going, it's just a voice, but you get really excited.
But you talk about the riffing there, and it strikes me that every job you do, you must get to the bit in the script where it goes, oh, and then Robin just does his thing.
Sometimes. There used to be that in Mork and Mindy that said, Mork does riff, you know, or just does his thing. But, you know, I remember the first movie I did where I did it, and the director was on GARP, George Ray Hill. I improvised. He made this face that looked like a weasel in a wind tunnel, like, and he went, just say the lines. And I used to read stories to Zelda, my daughter, and I would do all the voices. And one time she just went, just read the story. I was like, okay, cool.
Well, everyone's a critic.
Yeah, especially when it's your child. Get to the point, Dad.
That's harsh.
Oh, it is. Don't embellish.
Is the Zelda, is she really named after the video game?
Yeah, she's named after the video game. Zachary, my first son, named her.
Oh, okay. So it's not quite as crazy as a
It was like, hey, this is a great name for a kid. Wait, what? No, Zelda would be cool for a child. Or Luigi. Mario, get in here and take care of your sister. No, it was like Zachary said, wouldn't that be a great name? We went, yeah, it's kind of wonderful.
But it's, I mean, the great thing is she's lived up to it. You know, she's working as an actress. And
oh, she's wonderful.
But you'd have to be a certain sort of person to be called Zelda.
Well, yeah, either a major alcoholic living with a writer.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah, there's that. Scott and Zelda. Yeah. Honey, get out of the fountain. Sweetheart, you only have on a teddy.
And in terms of like animation, are those jobs kind of tempting for you because they are less time consuming?
Yeah, they're less time consuming, and I'm a huge fan of animation. I loved it growing up. I mean, my favorite cartoon characters were always Elmer Fudd. Just the idea of him doing Shakespeare. Oh, what a wogue and peasant's wave am I? But they're really wonderfully kind of damaged characters. And now I remember Sylvester the cat was always my favorite. Oh, and then his son was always, oh, father, must you embarrass me? Must I wear 2 bags in case one breaks? But they were always, the characters I loved. And when you start to do animation, and then you realize, like last night, when you go to a screening when there's families, whether it's parents and their children, if you do something that really works, if they're both having a good time, it's great.
And I went to a Drew press screening, which people had brought some kids, which was good.
Always good.
Because it's kind of good to see with
a child there.
And but people were laughing. Everyone was laughing. So
cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of years ago. I went to a theater. They were showing Aladdin. It was not a press screening. It was just a paying audience. And it was full of family. It was a family audience. It was parents and their kids, and they were laughing. Sometimes the kids would be laughing at certain things, and the parents would be laughing at other times. And then there'd be that wonderful moment where they're both having a good time, and then you went, yes, this is a cool thing, I was weird. A little kid came up to you years later and did a William F. Buckley, and he didn't even know. Nice to see you, Mr. Williams. I was like, you don't even know who that is, but that's wonderful. He's a major gay conservative, but thank you. Thank you. Wow, way to go. Thank you very much.
And now you're back doing stand-up again.
I did a play in New York for like 6 months. I did the Bengal Tiger in the Baghdad Zoo, so that took me off the stand-up circuit for a while.
And you played the tiger?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's like a heavily armed Godot in Iraq.
Because I've never heard of this.
Oh, it's a great play.
Yeah.
Really powerful. But it's a very strange play. Because one woman at intermission one time said, "This definitely isn't Mamma Mia." But it's a dramatic piece, and it takes place based on a true story of during the invasion of Iraq. They bombed the Baghdad Zoo, and the lions got out and all got killed. And then there was a tiger there in the zoo that these 2 drunken soldiers provoked, and the tiger bit the guy's hand off. Hence, the play kind of goes off from that, and I become a tiger and eventually get shot and become a ghost, wander around meeting all these other ghosts. But it's a tough piece.
That's an extraordinary premise that's a fantastic story.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and it's written like in the style of Beckett, and very surreal, and one of the characters is Uday Hussein, who's quite insane, and his other brother Ebay. But they have it just wanders in and out about all that and talks about the nature of that type of war, and it's pretty bizarre.
And it reminds me, is it true you stayed in Saddam's palace?
Yes, which is, there must be Colombian coke dealers going, come on, man, at least show some taste. It was like if Hitler had worked with Elvis. It was part bunker and just cheesy. I mean, just really, a lot of crap.
What was left in it? Was there furniture in it?
Yeah, really stuff that, like kind of, I don't know, early Colombian coke dealer,
Okay, before they really made the money.
Yeah, before the things got together and I got to hire people who came over to help us. When the walls were just, and the weird thing is the walls were covered, it's supposed to be marble, it's gypsum, and then behind the walls is it's plywood, and then rather than make solid walls, they just threw bricks in. It's really done very poorly as early dictator.
How very disappointing.
Yeah, you think. They should have a club for all those guys called Club Fled.
There should be an island. Apparently Berlusconi has got an island. He's bought an island where there's no jurisdiction.
Really?
That's what I hear.
Where did he buy it from the old Brando estate?
It's available, it's wonderful, it's beautiful girls, and it's just good to be who you are. It's kind of the Heart of Darkness Club Med thing.
They're all there, sitting next door to each
Silvio
other.
Berlusconi. Please help.
They cannot get him.
Euros need money. Call now.
Listen, I love the immediacy of the radio. You talk about the play, and Kerwin emails in, we saw Robin Williams in the Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo when he was playing in New York in June this year. He was excellent.
Thank you, Sam.
Very good. There's obviously loads of emails about various films that you've been in that people love. This is a typical one, talking about Mrs. Doubtfire, even though the first film was nearly 20 years ago. Was it really 20 years ago?
Oh, big time, yeah.
I know you get asked about it a lot. Will there be a sequel?
They've tried, dear, so it's very difficult. Mrs. Doubtfire. It's about her and the handgun regulation. I don't know. They keep trying, but the hard thing is at the end of the first one, they revealed the identity. So it's like, well, how are you going to top that? And they always end up trying to write it. and it ends up being Mrs. Doubtfire for about 5 minutes, and then you have to create another character. But so it's like, no, so far they can't. We'll see.
It is a hard thing because why would you do it again?
Big time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of makeup, you know.
Oh no, I'm not. I don't mean.
Oh.
I mean that's for you, the actor.
Oh,
but,
big time. Why
but
would
it's
you
like,
do it again?
yeah, why the
Usually
character gotta go?
a check.
Oh, I need to be a nanny one more time.
Yes, come back again. Dear diary.
Yes, only Mrs. Doubtfire can solve this situation.
Oh, call her now, dear.
Hi, Robin. This is from Debbie in Brighton. Maybe 15 years ago, my daughter went to San Francisco, and the night before she went, she said she was going to meet you. We all said no chance, but she did. You were doing a shoot in a tunnel, and you were kind enough to have a photo with her outside my sister's house on Green Street.
Wow. Well, that was probably for What Dreams May Come. There was a photo in the tunnel where this car has crashed, and I'm dying, basically. I wonder if I met her that night. He's over there. He's covered in blood. Could just go over there. Talk to him. Can I have a photo? Yes. Mind if I take this eyeball out? Yeah, I think that was probably that night. Wow.
Wow. And do you worry when you do kind of, like, for instance, the Broadway play, you know, which isn't an obvious choice for you. Do you worry about your audience and kind of, oh, I'm going to get people to come and see this play and they may not like it?
I mean, if you worry if they come in expecting to see something else. I mean, if they're coming in to see stand-up, like with the play, I think the first couple of weeks they thought, it'd be riffing a lot. No, it's a play, and you can't break out of it. I mean, but I think once they get the idea, my whole object is to keep changing the parameters. Work with interesting people and interesting stuff. That's why I did like World's Greatest Dad or 1 Hour Photo. That's not the normal thing for me, but it is actually a good idea to kind of keep get passports for other countries, as they say.
And also, I suppose the thing is, now, it seems in your career, that is the normal thing for you.
Yeah,
you do seem to choose the...
Yeah, and character pieces and like, you know, mix it up, animation, stand-up, a play. And it's also just to keep working, you know, the idea of not just going, what are you doing? Just sitting at home doing my memoirs. There they are. The idea is just, keep trying new stuff.
But are you as driven by work anymore?
Not as much. After the heart surgery, it was like, you know, slow down, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Once you have that, you just go work when you want to work, but not to be like, gotta keep out there, you know. As Leroy Satchel Paige said, the social ramble ain't restful, you know.
But I guess it's a difficult balance because if you don't work, people kind of don't ask you to work.
What, you mean you're forgotten?
I wasn't going to say that.
No, but it is that they don't ask you. You're right. Who is it? Hi! Hello, dear. No, we're not interested. Start pimping stuff. Yeah.
I'll do the sequel.
Anything!
You mentioned Morecambe Indy earlier. What? Oh dear! Ooh. Oh, do you ever hear from Pam Dauber?
Last time I saw her was 3 years ago, and she looks the same. She's gorgeous. She must have a Polaroid that looks like crap. I mean, because it's just like she is so. I think because she's just such a great, sweet soul that she shines through it, and she's the same. We did a benefit, and I just went Pam, and it was like I felt like, hello, Pam. How are you, diddy? But she looked amazing. Yeah, and
oh, that's really good.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful to see her and be like,
because it's like because you're such fondness for people from old TV
and she
shows.
was the best. She was so sweet, so tolerant. Because I was on everything but skates in those days.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yes. The Columbian College Fund.
Well, you're like an ad for it, though.
In the old days.
Well, no, you were doing very well. You were very high functioning.
Yeah, I was high functioning. You're right. Yeah. That's a great thing. It's like a nerve vibrator.
Harry emails, was Robin proud of the film The Night Listener?
Yeah.
And was the boy real?
The boy / woman was real. It was based on a story by Armistead Maupin, based upon a woman who really did contact him and say that she had this son, and that all of that is real. That it was, you know, and he experienced that, and we believe that somehow during the shooting she tried to contact us. The movie's the premise is,
yes,
he had this woman contact me and say, I have a son who's dying of AIDS, and I think, and then it turned out she was both. She was playing both parts, and it was really, it was really strange, and Armistead talks about it a lot.
That's great. And you think she did try to contact you during the movie? We
got these kind of letters saying, I hear, and it was kind of signed, and he thinks it was her because he recognized the handwriting.
Wow. That's freaky deaky.
Yeah.
Listen, we're nearly out of time, but I'll get through some more emails. Adrian's asking if you think you'd ever tour the UK as a stand-up, as he'd love to see him live rather than on DVD.
I was here about, I think it was a year and a half ago. I just played London.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to play
the word
other
was
cities.
tour.
Tour, yeah, the operative word is other cities. Hence, remember that, Robin. Maybe you might want to go north. Try that. Hey, come to Jordanland. I guess if I get another stand-up together, I got to. It's
And
important.
why after 16 years did you decide to go back?
Well, it was after, like, I did the one tour in 2002. After,
Oh, okay, there wasn't
Yeah,
a
it
quite
was,
long.
it was more like 8 years.
Oh, okay.
I went back just because it was time, especially in America, the way things were kind of gone pretty wild.
You had enough to say.
Oh, there's a lot. It was like a piñata.
You talked about video games earlier. Do you still play? And if so, what's your favourite game? That's John.
Oh, John, yes. Obviously, John, Call of Duty. But don't look for me.
Do you seriously?
Oh yeah, I play a lot of that. I just play the campaign games. I don't go online because there'll be 11-year-old going, I own you.
I see my eyes. They've slightly glazed over.
Yeah, it's like,
this is a hidden world to me.
serious? Oh,
Yeah.
don't. It's cyber cocaine. You'll be like,
What I was going to say, do you go to bed?
I do eventually, but your hand's still, No, but if you go multiplayer, it's crazed.
I have a friend, I'm just looking at the clock. I have a friend who's the funniest person I've ever known. He's naturally funny. He works as a care worker. I'm sure he brings a lot of mirth to the elderly folks he works with, but he would be a natural in any comedy stage. What can he do to make the transition from caring to comedy? What can I do to encourage him other than to laugh? That's from Michael in Buxton.
Michael in Buxton. Well, tell him to step onto a comedy stage. That'll be the wig test. I had a friend who did it, and one night he killed. He did great, and then the next night he bombed, and he said, oh, "That's it." So if you have to give it at least 2 nights and see how it goes, and then start to average how the evening goes, and if it's more than 2, if he starts to see that he's, and to see what the clubs are. I mean, I was literally, this is true stories in an English comedy club, and there was a blind guy in the back heckling people, and all of a sudden this one guy walked on stage, and they just said his name, and he said, "Please welcome," and all of a sudden, "Get off!" And then he waited a half second, he went, "Is he gone?" So English comedy clubs are tough, man. You go, but there's lots of them. I performed one time here. There was one that was actually built in an old garage, and there's one, I think, that was built in a men's room, in a subway men's room. That's a club. I forget the name of it. Forgive me, I blanked, but they're out there. Tell your friend, try it. Get out and on stage. Go beyond an audience of 1.
Yes.
Yes.
And because for you started acting, then went to comedy, then that was your
I
route
went to
back
Juilliard
in.
to study acting.
Which
and
is
then-
posh. I mean, so
Posh,
you
it's-
knew you could act.
Yeah, posh, yes. I could enunciate for no reason. I could speak for this and thus bring it down to this moment. And then when I went home to San Francisco, I couldn't find acting work, so I started going to these comedy, like a comedy club that was in the basement. It was in the basement of a Presbyterian church where they had lesbian poetry, then they had comedy, which is a nice double mix.
Yeah.
Interesting audience. You're gonna find out what works right away. But it was like, that, and I started performing, and then eventually there was this kind of early circuit of a few clubs where you actually could get paid to go on stage. Like it was $10, $20, but you're getting paid. So started to pay the bills doing comedy, and then that built. So that was the transition.
And wasn't there a night when a microphone broke or something?
Oh yeah, and then because I'd been trained at Juilliard, all of a sudden, most of the time I wouldn't use a mic because if you're standing on stage, you're much more of a solitary target. So I could move off stage and just start talking and wandering around the audience. And because I could project, it really worked. It helped me.
The late and great Robin Williams.